Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Compassionate, the Most Merciful, to all of our viewers out there, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. And thank you for joining us back in the rational, the intersection of faith and reason, with our beloved guest here, Dr. Sh.Yassir Sheikh Idris. Dr. Ja'far, as always, it is an honor and a pleasure to be with you, sir. And Sheikh, last time we were speaking about the purpose of life as seen in Islam, and we said that it is to worship God, and we spoke about some of the pillars of Islam, the prayers and the pilgrimage, and the fasting. And you were saying that these physical acts are used in order to enhance that mental state or the state of the heart to become more God conscious. And you said that we should not belittle them because we have seen the Prophet ﷺ do them, and you were quoting some papers out there, even when you wash your face or the kneeling or what have you, it stimulates or gets the brain or the mind ready to accept matters like these. And we would like to carry on with that conversation, if you would please, with regard more of the different acts of worship that are prescribed in
Yes, our main purpose in all this is to show that how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides us to the best way to achieve that purpose of worshipping, that purpose of having this mental state of worship. And because there is a relationship not only with the mind and the body, but there is also a relationship with nature. That is why those certain places and times were chosen for us. And now we can say there is also a relationship between that mental state and what we eat, what we drink, how we sleep, and so on. And again, God directs us as to what we eat, what we drink, and the relationship between this and his other acts, his other orders and prohibitions. We can give some examples of this.
Please.
For example, we are told to pray also, and we are told to pray. We are also told to abstain from certain sins. We are told to be mindful of our Creator. Now, there's a verse in the Quran which says prayer helps you to achieve all this. Inna salata tanha عن الفحشاء والمنكر. Salah forbids you from committing fahsha, yes, this and munkar, and everything that is not morally accepted. وَلَذِكْرُ اللَّهِ أَكْبَرُ. And what the dhikr, that reminds you, that the fact that it reminds you of God is even more important than it's preventing you from committing these grave sins. When God tells us not to drink alcoholic drinks or not to engage in gambling, also this is related to our worshipping Him. إنما يريد الشيطان أن يوقع بينكم العداوة والبغضاء في الخمر والميسر ويصدكم عن ذكر الله. So while salah and prayer helps you to remember your Creator and to worship Him, gambling and drinking, in fact, hinder you from doing this. So the Creator subhanahu wa ta'ala helps us, guides us as to do. Many Muslims, especially Umar ibn al-Khattab, even before the drinking of alcoholic drinks or drinking of wine was prohibited, he felt that there was something wrong. He used to drink before he became Muslim, but now I said once that he must have felt the difference between the state of mind that he has when he prays and the state of mind he has when he's drunk. And he must have said to himself, the God who ordered me to do this cannot allow me to do this.
Sheikh,
Because there's a contradiction between the two.
It's interesting you mentioned this, because back in the States, we know of people who actually came to the masjid and became Muslims. And as our custom is to ask people, what is it about Islam that attracted you to it? I remember one of them said, my father was an alcoholic, and I knew how alcohol has damaged my family. And he said, I took a vow that I will never drink alcohol because I know of its consequences. And then he later came to learn that Islam actually forbids alcohol.
He didn't know that
No,
at
he
first?
he didn't know this at first. When he found out that Islam forbids alcohol, he was so intrigued by this that a religion would actually say, no alcohol. And I'm sorry, but this is another one. A sister once came to the masjid and I said, she became a Muslim, and I said, what happened? She said, in our company, the company was distributing gifts to the employees at the end of the year. And there was this man that he was just so unbelievably anxious, and he was walking around saying that, I hope it's not wine, I hope it's not champagne. And as you know, that's something that is greatly appreciated out there. And she said, what are you talking about? He said, I don't want champagne. She said, everybody is wishing that the gift be champagne. He said, I'm a Muslim, we don't drink. And she became so interested, because she said, he was the first person that I've ever met that was actually saying that, I hope that I do not get alcohol as a gift. And as a result, she became a Muslim in that sense. Sheikh, a question that poses itself. If God forbids these things, to begin with, why were they created?
Why they were created?
Yes, in a sense that, okay, we can't eat pork. Why create it to begin with? If we're not going to have it anyway.
I mean, if you ask questions like this, you can say, why did he make me able to eat? This is a test. This is a test. They are not created for that purpose. And wine is made by the human being. You have, it is not ready in nature. He did not create pigs so that you eat them. He created them for us. He did not create poison so that you take it, and so on. This life here is a life of test. It is not a life of reward. God does not. It is not. And God could have, as He said, He could have created you in such a way that you don't do any of these things. You worship Him just like angels worship Him. But He created different kinds of creation. One of them is, among them, these are human beings whom He gave will and the ability to do either good or bad.
Sheikh, before we leave the issue of alcohol here, Islam does not only forbid drinking alcohol. There are other things that also Islam forbids with regard to alcohol. And
yes, like taking interest on money or so.
Okay.
And again, the Quran does not only say that this is forbidden, but it expresses it in words that make it hateful to the person. الذين يأكلون الآية إنما يأكلون في بطونهم نار. Those who eat riba, the expression of eating is, I don't know whether there is something like this in English.
Devour, consume.
Yes, but you don't devour interest. but this is an Arabic expression. If you take interest, you are said to have, you eat it. So the Quran says that when you take riba, you are eating it, and this is like eating fire. So it is something that is just opposite of what you are told to do in worship. And riba also has to do with the external thing that we were talking about, because riba relates to the economic relations between people. So when you exploit another person who is supposed to be your brother, then this is a very bad thing. It weakens your consciousness of your Creator, and you will be just as someone who is eating fire. And also, I think about external relations. All life is organized in such a way as to help you to achieve that purpose. All life, whether it is social relations or economic relations or political relations, everything in life is made, designed, not actually, but according to legislation, you are told to design life in this way so that it helps you to worship your Creator.
Sheikh, inshallah, when we come back, I would like to ask you about acts of worship that are not necessarily performed by the body or by the limbs, acts of the body that are possibly performed by the heart. We will take a short break, inshallah, and we will be back, so please stay tuned.
The tension there, what about the North Korean nuclear program and the six-party talks? How will the tension there affect a relationship between US and China?
They did that early in 1993, and after long discussion and negotiation, finally they stopped their program.
Will the world be able to stop this flow of secrets? Will it affect international relations? Or were there simply basic known facts for most experts and most diplomats?
And we don't know if there's more to come. It's information war.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and thank you for joining us back again in the rational, the intersection of faith and reason with our guest here, Dr. Sh.Yassir Sheikh Idris. Dr. Jafar, you were speaking about some of the prohibitions in Islam, and you gave the example of interest, you gave the example of alcohol. Now, Islam does not only stop as prohibiting these things, but it also forbids Muslims from promoting it or encouraging it.
Yes, this is true. This is why we say that Islam is very comprehensive. It deals with all aspects of the matter. We could add also, for example, that I think we said in one of our previous episodes that there are two kinds of acts of worship. The one that is prescribed from the beginning as an act of worship, and then everything else. I think perhaps you can add a third one. I don't know what we call it. And examples of this third one is the way you treat people, which is called the Prophet calls it husn al-khuluq in Arabic, because khuluq is not just morality. It's not morality as some people think. It is the special way you treat people, your conduct, that is khuluq. And according to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a person can be raised to a high place in paradise just because of his
Character.
just because of his conduct with other people, especially with his spouse. But the Prophet ﷺ said, خيركم خيركم للنساء وأنا خيركم للنساء. The best of you are the best in treating their spouses, their wives, and I am the best because I am the best in treating my wife.
Sheikh,
Also,
I'm
yes.
sorry, but you raised this issue, and when we look, for example, I remember studying in the books of fiqh, there is the chapters for ibadat, and then
Yes.
the chapters for mu'amalat. Ibadat are the rituals or the acts of worship, and then mu'amalat was the dealing with people. And usually that part of any book is usually much, much bigger than the part that deals with ibadat, as if that is expressed in the way, like you said, the treatment of other people.
Yes, and no, there's a third one, and that is the one that relates to dealing with people. Mu'amalat, I think, mostly is like matters of, especially matters of economics. But this is related to how to treat other people, and related to ethics and so on. So we should, I think, add to what we said about acts of worship. We said the way you treat people, and then you can, I mean, you treat people. This can be made in so many good ways. For example, when you teach people, and you help them, you worship God, and you help others to worship Him also. That itself will be an act of a good act of worship. Jihad, as we explained it, when you make jihad in the form of defending the truth, that's an act of worship. When you make jihad in the form of fighting the aggressors, that is one of the best kinds of worshipping the Creator. So worshiping is not confined just to those acts which we said are prescribed as being acts of worship, like prayer and pilgrimage and fasting.
Sheikh, I remember also one time in the class you taught us that what was ibadah, and I think you quoted somebody saying that اسم لكل ما يحبه الله ويرضاه من الأعمال. It's a comprehensive term.
Yes, I think that was Ibn Taymiyyah. This was one of the definitions of ibadah. So ibadah in Islam is a very broad concept. Many people now, even religion, it has a broader sense than what the word religion means in English. Say, when you say deen is not confined to religion in the English language, because deen is also a way of life. Whether that way of life is good or bad, it is deen. So in Arabic, you can say that this is the deen of the communists, and this is the deen of the secularists, meaning their way of life. In fact, even animals, according to Arabic language, can have deen.
A way of life themselves.
No, the way that an animal does something. There is a line of poetry that I forgot. Abadan dinuha wa dini. He was talking about his camel and said, "This is her deen and my deen," means this is the way that what we always do. This is so. Deen is in the Arabic language means more than just religion.
And acts of ritual, it encompasses, as you said, many aspects of life. Sheikh Ja'far, believe it or not, this is going to be our last episode here, and it has been such a joy and an honor being with you. It was not only informative, but it was also very light-hearted. And sometimes we went through some difficult issues and concepts, but Jazakallah khair, you made it so very digestible, to say, and simplified it so that it was very easily understood by myself, and I'm very sure also by many of our viewers out there. The issue of what to know about Islam, and by the end of the day, what is Islam about? A word to our viewers out there.
I think we said in the very early, in one of the early episodes, that Islam is the message of God to human beings, and it is a continuation of the message of the early prophets, and the core of that message is that you are invited to worship none but your Creator, and to worship Him in this broad sense of worship. We have been trying to explain whatever, as far as our knowledge goes, and I would like our viewers to forgive us for any mistakes that we must have committed, and for any perhaps improper way in which we said anything. And we would like them to communicate with us and to write to us about any observations that they had on what we said, and I'm sure that you and I will benefit from those observations.
Sheikh Ja'far, again, on behalf of all the viewers that are out there, again, I must repeat that this was such a joy, and personally speaking, this was such an honor, to be sharing this with you on such a personal level. And for those who only see a glimpse of the speaker, when you deal with him on daily basis, you get an extremely different image that is even more beautiful. That was, a glimpse of it was displayed here on the screen for our viewers out there. Also, this work was not possible without some very patient brothers, I must say, out there, cameramen, the producers, the designers, and everybody out there. They have really made this possible, and we're very, very grateful to them, grateful to Al Huda channel for hosting us and allowing us to carry this message to people out there. And again, just echoing what the Sheikh has said, this is a message to all of humanity out there, where people have equal access to it. And the point is, be in peace with yourself, be in peace with your Creator, and be in peace with the creation of God that is out there. On the behalf of our viewers, Sheikh Ja'far would like to say a very, very sincere thank you. Jazakallah khair. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you best for this beautiful display of knowledge that is out there. You did it with humility, simplicity, with a big beautiful smile on your face, and that was just absolutely greatly appreciated. And with this we come to the conclusion of this entire program, hoping that you did find it beneficial. And as Sheikh Ja'far said, please do correspond with us if you have any observations or comments. We would truly, truly benefit from it. And then until we meet next time, and I hope that there will be a next time with you, Sheikh Ja'far, we would like to say so long, and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.